Hello YouTube family, thank you for joining me today. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to make these decorative bowls. These are made with recycled papers. And show you how I decoupage them and paint them to make them look nice and colorful. So these are, again, like I mentioned, made with recycled papers. You can also make them with like egg cartons and toilet paper rolls, the core of the toilet paper rolls. So this is a really nice recycling project that you make something useful with recycled papers. So let's get started. The list of things that you're going to need to make this project is going to be in the description box below. So let's get started. So I have a bucket here full of torn up papers that I have it soaking for more than 24 hours. It doesn't have to be that long, but I just didn't have time yesterday to work on this, so it's just been sitting for a while. I asked my kids to tear up the papers so that it's something for them to do as well, a little chore for them to do as well. And I've seen other videos where they actually just use their hands to break up the papers into smaller pieces rather than putting them in the blender to blend it. In my first video, that's what I did though. I put it in the blender to blend it, but this time I just want to try with my finger, and it sounds like it's going to take some time to do this, and I do have quite a bit of papers in there, but I'm going to see how long I can go on to break the paper into smaller pieces. If it just takes too long, I might just throw it in the blender, but I'm gonna keep going and I will show you guys once the paper is all broken down into like a really mushy consistency. So I was able to break it down to a smaller consistency. It's not all the way small as the first time I made it, but I want to try it like this because if I can prevent using a blender, that would be awesome. So after we have this, we are going to make our dough. So to do that, we need some flour. Okay, so here I have about a cup of flour, all-purpose flour, and I'm gonna put in some salt. This is probably just about half a tablespoon of salt. And then we're going to add some water to this and mix it into, make it into a dough. And it's going to be a very sticky dough. So let me do that. Add some water and I'm going to start mixing it. And I'm going to go slowly in terms of adding water. We're going to mix it, add some more water, mix it. And so just a few things that I want to share with you. Do it in a sunny day so that once you have the bowl made, that it has it doesn't take too long to dry. When I did my first couple ones, I did it in a cold day and it took forever to dry, and it has that odor. So to prevent that, you want to do it on a nice sunny day. Okay, so I'm kind of happy with this consistency. It's really sticky. It's not all the way formed. And even if once you mix it with your paper, and if you feel like it's too sticky, you can always add more flour, or if it's too dry, you can add some water. So you can adjust the measurements as you go on. And so at this point, I'm ready to mix the two together. I'm first going to put this in my other bowl because this is my actual kitchen mixing bowl and I don't want to use this. So I'm going to put it in this pink bowl. It's just a plastic bowl from Dollar Tree. So I'm going to throw that in there, and then I'm going to put the paper in there bucket, and I'm going to squeeze some because there's too much water in here. So I'm going to squeeze out the water and drop the paper, just the paper pulp, in the dough mix. And it's okay if a little bit of water goes in there because we need to be able to form it into a dough. So we're going to keep doing this until all of our pulp makes it into this pink basket. I ended up using a strainer to make the process faster, and it works really well if you're going to make a big dough. And this is what I have in my dough container. So now we're going to mix the two together, the flour and the paper, and you're going to just knead it like you would knead your dough. to make whatever you're making. I thought I would end up with a little more paper than what I expected, but that's fine. We're just gonna keep going until I have a nice, well-mixed consistency. So after mixing it really well, this is the consistency, and as you can see, they kind of don't stick together. So I want to add a little more flour to it. So I'm just gonna sprinkle a little flour at a time and keep kneading, going until it feels like nice and sticky, like they're gonna stick together when we are trying to form a shape. Okay, so my dough is ready. This is the consistency that I like to work with. And I have gathered the things that I need to shape the form. So you want to get bowls, containers, anything you want your paper to take the shape of. So I am using a wax paper to put the barrier between the shape that I'm using and the paper clay or paper dough. I have this little bottle here. It's a sunscreen bottle, and I want to make a little vase out of it that is the size of this, so that I can put little dried flower bouquets in it. I want to create a shape of this plate. It's going to be like a tray, and I have some broken shells here. So I want to see if I can put them on the dough as part of the tray. So that's what I want to try, because I know a regular tray works already. So I want to try different things and see what works and what doesn't, and you guys get to see too. And I have another plate here that is obviously flat on the bottom and nice curve to it. And I want to use a paper, a printed paper. So I want to put this paper right on the top to see if it will dry out evenly, so that I don't have to add any Mod Podging over this. So that's what I'm trying to achieve. We will start with, well, let's just start with this since we're on it. So I'm going to take my wax paper in my dough, and I'm going to just kind of place it in the middle, press it down, and it will just kind of start spreading as you press it. So let me go ahead and put this to the side. And here is my paper. Okay, so I have a little container here with water and sponge. So I'm going to wet this paper up by just dabbing the water over the paper. So this is a printed paper. It is 100 GSM, and dabbing it with water will make it kind of wet, obviously, and easier to work with and fold. And I'm hoping this will work. If you can see, the paper is starting to like soak in the water, and that's a good sign. I'm kind of working on one corner and working outwards because I don't want to wet the whole thing if I don't need the whole thing. I'm just going to quickly see how big I need this to be, and I kind of need to come down up to this part. And if this trick doesn't work, then I will just decoupage or paint on the top like I did on the other one. But let's give this a try. I'm gently pressing down the paper so that it takes the shape of the bowl or plate. So I'm just going to roughly cut the parts that's sticking out because I don't want the weight of the paper to make the part that's sticking come out. So I think I'm gonna brush on one more layer of water over it, or I guess dab some water over it. Okay, now this is ready to dry out. I'm going to put this aside and we will work on our next project. So the next thing is my little bottle here, and I'm going to put the wax paper over it as well. And let's see, I need to make sure that there's no, I decided this, let's see what happened here. This way. Just trying to make sure that it's not too bulky. Okay, so now I'm ready to put my dough to form on this. So I'm just taking a big chunk of dough and I'm just pressing it gently so that it takes the form of the container. I'm going to the side here and pressing gently as well. Now I don't want this to be too tall. I just want to be small size like this. Now, since this part moves quite a bit, I think I should trim the paper down a little bit. Okay, hopefully that'll not move it too much. I think that is pretty much it for this one. So we're gonna let it dry like this. And for this one, I'm thinking I'm going to need the dough to be thicker because the shells would have to be kind of pressed in on it. I'm laying down my wax paper again, and then taking my dough and slapping it right in the middle. I'm just pressing it around. And this one, I'm not going to worry about the edges because I just want the shells on these one to be the star of the show. Okay, I'm going to try pressing one in and see how that feels. And kind of covering the edges so that it doesn't fall out when it's dry. Another big one here. Try in that spot again, covering the edges so that the dough takes it. Sometimes the shells are so nice that, you know, even if it's broken, you want to collect it. And then once you've collected it, you don't know what to do with it. It just kind of sits in a jar. But if this works, this will be a very, very practical use of the shells you've collected. And then I want to use this piece in the center, like this maybe, pressing it right in the middle there. And then a little shell, a broken shell, which is really pretty, but obviously it's broken. So if we can sort of stick that in there that way, hopefully the dough will take the shell. And I also want to make sure that I don't need this tray to be perfect, but I do want the edges to be slightly raised up so that whatever I decide to put on it, that, you know, it'll stay there and not fall. And this side has a little extra. I'm gonna pinch some from this side and use it over here. So I'm just kind of pressing in that corner to make sure that the edges stick up. Okay, I think this is ready to be left alone to be dried out. So that's what we're gonna do, and then we will be back when everything is all dried up. Okay, so this is about 24 hours later. My flat plate is actually drying really well. It's almost done. And this actually looks like a paper plate. So not quite how I wanted this to turn out, but it's nice and sturdy, almost dry because it's pretty thin. And then the next thing we have is the little vase. I took the barrier paper off of this one so that it can dry inside as well. And this is a little bit on the thicker side too, but this one's drying well as well. Now this one here, I don't know if the shells are going to stick. The color has changed significantly, like the vase, little baby vase there as well. But this is super thick, so it's taking some time to dry. The top part is dry, but the bottom part is, actually I might even just flip it so that it starts drying from the back side here. Let's put it this way. So the back side is still very wet, and so we're gonna leave it like this. Hopefully for another 24 hours this will dry. So just wanted to give you guys a little update on the progress. So it is a couple weeks later and everything is completely dried out. So just going to show you what I am left with. So here is my little mini vase. It is nice, hard and sturdy. I want to paint this inside and out. And I'm going to choose probably like light brown or something very neutral in color because I want to put dried flowers in it, and then so that's what I want to do with this one. And this one right here is also it turned out pretty well. I like the shape of it because I wanted this to be like a tray, and it is nice and heavy and sturdy because I use a pretty thick clay. And then in terms of the shells themselves, now if I pull this, the little ones a little harder, they will come off. But the bigger ones are stuck pretty good. What I did was when I was drying them, I was moving them a lot. Like I would be picking up the little wax paper, and then when I pull it down, so it was kind of moving around too much, and I think that's where I made a mistake, especially with the little ones. And so next time I will not do that. I will move as little as possible so that these, and then maybe I'll press them down a little bit more. Like if you see, like you can see the space between the clay and the shells. So I think that's what I will do, is that I will pay attention and try to reinforce around the edges as much as possible, because I really do want to use the shells again. So I do plan on painting this as well on the top, same color as I'm going to do on this one. And then on the back, I think I'm going to decoupage just to make it something different. So that's the plan for this one. And this one right here, I'm going to consider this a fail. This obviously looks like a paper plate, and then on top of that, like you can see that like it looks dirty, and then the bubbles where it didn't attach to the clay very well, like you can see it really white. So I'm not happy with how this turned out, and it is I did make this pretty thin, so it is thin, lightweight, which is okay, but it doesn't look nice to me. I am going to finish this too because I want to see, you know, at the end what this is going to look like. Now, in terms of sticking to the clay, the paper does stick pretty well, actually. I need to finish off the edges, and then all of them I do plan on doing the edges with the gold. So we'll see if the gold makes it any pretty. But the main problem is the little white part showing, and I think that's what makes it not so nice. So let's get started. I'm going to speed up this video, otherwise it'll be forever long. I'm taking the brown acrylic paint and painting the inside of the little vase first. I'm going to switch between all three different items I've made so that when one is drying, I'm working on the other one. So here I'm letting the vase dry, and now I'm working on the tray, the flowered tray. I'm cutting the edges there, the extra pieces of paper, and making sure the edges are nice and clean. This did take me some time to do, but I wanted to make sure that they look perfect, and I will be painting the edges a little bit later. Now I'm going back to the vase to paint the outside of it, since the inside is nice and dry. I do plan on getting a bigger brush since I love doing projects like these quite a bit, because the smaller brush, as you can see, takes forever to paint. And now I'm going to let this dry and start working on the seashell tray. Now on this one, I added a little more white to the same paint. So this is a little lighter. The brown color is a little lighter than what I used on the vase. I am sort of going around the edges of the seashell to make sure that the paint doesn't touch it. I feel like painting is one of those hobbies where you really have to put your focus into it so that you don't make a mistake. Like here, I got some paint on one of the shells, and I was trying to wipe it off with the little Q-tip. And I'm just finishing off the edges with this paint, and I am all done and ready for that to dry. I had a little bit of brown paint left, so I'm just using it on this little gingerbread house that I made, which is going to be part of another video. And here I am going back to the flower tray. I am using a very bright, bold teal color for the back side of the tray. For some reason, I feel like this color really complements the teal in the front of the plate or the tray. This is again acrylic paint. I wish I could paint this fast because between the decoupaging and painting, it took forever to add the finishing touches. Now I'm going to decoupage the shell tray. First, I take off all the layers of the napkin, and I'm just left with the printed side, and then I put on the Mod Podge on the tray first, and then I put down the napkin, and then do the bottom part that way. And then at this point I am working around the sides, brushing on the Mod Podge a little bit at a time, so that it sticks on nicely. And then I trim off the edges of the napkin down to the edges of the tray, and then I check and make sure that all the edges are nicely stuck with each other, the napkin and the tray. And then here I decided to decoupage the little vase as well, because I did not like the color of the vase once it was all dried out. So what I did was I put on a piece of the printed napkin on the bottom first, so that way the bottom is covered that way, and then I took a longer piece of napkin and wrapped it around the vase part. Then I'm letting the vase sit for a little bit, and then I'm going back to the tray and putting the top layer of Mod Podge over that, so that it seals nicely. And then I will let this rest once the top layer is done. And then I'm gonna do the same thing with the vase. I'm putting on the top layer on the vase so that the napkin stays put and is sealed. And the Mod Podge I'm using here is actually the matte finish. After this, I'm going back to my paper plate tray to go over the edges with gold pen here. And then after this was done, I'm coming back to my shell tray to really do the edges because I want to make sure that the napkin really sticks to the tray. I ended up not doing the gold edging because I feel like it doesn't go well with the colors that I have picked there. And then here I'm going back to my paper plate tray to seal the top layer with Mod Podge again, and this time I used the gloss finish. Okay, so I am done painting, decoupaging, and fixing everything, and this is what I am left with. So my little paper plate or a tray turned out better with the little edging with the gold pen, and then on the back I did this very, very bright, unexpected, big, bold, bright teal color, which is kind of a little contrasting and kind of works well, I feel like, with the pattern and the colors on the top. So it turned out better than what I had expected, but I still is not my favorite thing. And then the next thing I got is the little tray, the shell tray. I was planning on doing a lighter color paint, but somehow I ended up with this kind of terracotta color, which is not bad. I think it picks up the kind of browns from the shells. And on the bottom, I ended up decoupaging with a similar color, similar printed paper or napkin. And so I'm pretty happy with this. On how it turned out. I didn't end up doing the gold edges because obviously the color, the paint color and the gold I don't think will go very well. And then this ended up being my favorite thing. So I put my little dried flowers on there already, and this is the little flower vase that I first painted as you saw in the video, and then I did end up decoupaging this as well with the little same printed napkin as the tray because I think this print works well even for the flowers, because I have a lot of floral napkins and this is the only one that's not floral, and so I think this turned out pretty cute with the flowers in it, and I think this will make a really nice Mother's Day gift as well. So these were my 3 things that I made this time around with my recycled paper clay. I actually have one more thing, but this is part of the next video, the little house. So that's going to be coming up soon. But these are the 3 things that we made for this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you on my next one. Bye for now.